Hey, this is Jim with Power Equipment Direct, your product expert for pressure washers. Today we're going to go over all the things you need to know about pressure washers, how to start them, how to run them, how to maintain them. Let's get the show on the road. So a lot of times I get pressure washers that get shipped out and they have residual oil in the engine. They may have a bottle of oil in there that gets punctured and you get oil all over the place. It's not a pleasant experience, but it's not the end of the world. Pretty easy to take care of. All you need to do is pull that pressure washer out of the container, clean off the best you can, remove the air filter, wash that out, let that dry really well. Pull the spark plug out. Clean the end of the spark plug off, maybe pull the recoil out a few times to get any residual oil that's in there out of the engine. Once it stops sputtering with oil, you'll know that it's clear oil. Put the spark plug back in, gas it up, get it going. You may see a little bit of smoke in the beginning, some white smoke. That'll dissipate after a while. Nothing's going to harm the pressure washer. Minor inconvenience, but it's not the end of the world. So now we're going to talk about maintaining your pressure washer and everything you need to do and steps you need to take to keep that pressure washer running in tip-top shape all the time. Maintaining it just like your car goes a long way to extending the life of that pressure washer. The number one thing is you want to keep that gasoline fresh. Don't use old gas because that can really gum up carburetor if that gas has been sitting too long. Throw stabilizer in there. If you're going to keep that gas around for a little bit, you think you might have that around for a couple months, throw some stabilizer in there. That'll keep that gas in a good combustible state. Make sure you change the oil on a regular basis. Your manual will tell you what interval to change the oil at. You know, all your axle cam pumps are sealed, so there's really no maintenance involved in these. If they go, you're going to be replacing them. For triplex pumps, you want to change the oil on those on a regular basis too. Your manual on the pump will tell you what intervals to change that out. There's going to be a place where you can add oil into these. There's going to be a window that's going to show you how much oil we have in the pump. Be something like this. On a regular pump, you're going to see oil, and it should be at least a halfway mark. If it's any less than halfway, you definitely want to add oil to that, or change that oil out, put some fresh oil and get it to the halfway mark. That's going to be standard pump oil that we sell on our website. It's non-detergent. Usually about a 20 or 30 weight oil, but we do sell Cat pump oil. We sell Briggs & Stratton pump oil. Be aware with Cat pumps, you do need to use their oil to maintain the warranty on that pump. So that's something you do have to watch out for. But make sure that that oil is clean all the time and that pump will be running good for you. Again, you have your pistons up in here. This is the point where if you need to replace those and get a repair kit, you're going to do these and pull out the seals and the pistons and the springs. Replace those parts. So along with the other maintenance steps that we talked about, it's a good idea to check out a number of other steps. I mean, one would be the O-rings. And a lot of your clamps connections and other connections, you may have some O-rings that are in there if you have an older pressure washer. These start wearing. On this particular unit, there's a split O-ring that was causing some leaking earlier when we were trying to use our pressure washer, and that was the cause of the leak and the lack of pressure we were getting coming out the spray gun. So something as little as this can cause big problems with your pressure washer. Again, it's not a fault of the pressure washer, it's just some of the equipment that you're using. So you want to check your O-rings, you want to check your nozzles, make sure they're nice and clean. They're not wearing out. Again, if they can get old, you may need to replace those after a certain amount of time. Spark plugs, those need to be replaced every once in a while too, just like your car. A little bit of tune-up. That's going to go a long way into giving that engine good running life. You want to also make sure that you keep the nozzle open. You want to keep the trigger pressed when you're using that pressure washer. Again, you can't overstate that either. You want to keep water flowing through that pump and through that hose. If you don't have water flowing through there and it's just circulating through that pump, that water heats up really quickly. That's a very common cause of damage to pumps. And make sure you're getting an adequate amount of water to that pump. That pressure washer is rated at 3 gallons per minute. You got to make darn sure you got 3 gallons a minute coming to that pump minimum, if not a couple more. So all that plays an important role in keeping that pressure washer running in tip-top shape. And that's really the basics for gas pressure washers. There's not a lot. It's like taking care of a car, and there's not a lot to keep that oil clean, gas fresh, and if you have an air filter on there, keep that clean. That's going to go a long way to prolonging the life of that pressure washer. Can you repair a leaking pressure washer hose? Short answer, no. You don't want to mess with it. It's high pressure you're dealing with, can literally blow up in your face, so it's definitely not recommended. Replace the hose. Alright, so for sizing nozzles for pressure washers, it's important to know what the PSI and GPM rating of your pressure washer is. All of these nozzles, whether it's a standard nozzle like this or turbo nozzles, are coming in different orifice sizes. Those orifice sizes relate to the pressure and GPM rating of your machine. If you get the wrong orifice, you're not going to get the full potential or performance of that nozzle with your machine you're using. You might get a little higher pressure out of it, which isn't going to really be good for the machine. You might get lower pressure, which isn't going to be good for the performance. So it's important to get the right orifice size for those different tips that you're looking to replace or buy. The other thing I want to point out too on these tips, they do wear out after time. So, you know, if you've been using the same tips over and over for a year and a half or 2 years and you see that you're getting low pressure in your machine, it's probably time to buy new tips for your machine. They're going to wear out, they're going to see a decrease in pressure, and that could be one reason why you're seeing that. After all this great information we provided for you today, you're still on the fence, you're still not sure what you want to look for, go to pressurewashersdirect.com/best and you'll find all the recommended pressure washers, all the best accessories. Everything else you need to know is going to be right there for you to check out. If you're still not sure, feel free to give us a call. We're here to help you.